I'm Joel Gelzo, and I'm the director for Project Volare.
Keep going until Christy's out.
Okay.
So obviously you don't need to say any of your lines until he's joking, but we'll just try to move pretty quick.
Right.
So you help her out, and as you're kind of pulling her out, just be like looking back, okay?
Okay.
Just kind of like, you know, checking around, like, come on, let's go, you know, get out.
Okay.
You know, there's not much time, that kind of thing. All right, ready? So halfway close. How, can you go almost closer? Yeah, right there. You might as well. Okay, ready? And action.
Come on, we gotta move.
For this segment, I wanted to talk about directing with a vision. And what that means is, I think as a director, when you're working on a project, you are the person that is leading the group, your crew, towards a specific vision for how this film is going to look, feel, sound, and be. So I think it's really important that at the end of the day, when that film is done, it should feel like that person has their touch on it. It doesn't mean it's just created only by them, but it has a cohesive vision that they were planning for or striving towards. So here are some tips I think that can help you direct with a vision. Be inspired about what you're doing. You have to be inspired about what you're doing. So when I direct something, like if I'm going to spend that amount of time to film something, especially again, this also pertains a little bit more to low budget filmmaking where it's grassroots, you're doing everything you can to make something happen, where it's maybe not your job. And again, I know there's a lot of filmmakers out there, this is not their job, they just love doing it. And that's what I love doing. So it takes a lot of effort to do it, but be inspired. And the reason why I say that is because by being inspired by what you're doing, it helps, it's contagious for others too. It's not about, hey, this person is so awesome. It's about when you see someone who's inspired about their working, it's sometimes, I've helped a lot of other people that are inspired on stuff that you almost don't care too much about what the end goal is, but you're just excited to work with those people because they're really excited about what they're doing. So you can't help but want to help them and do your best to help do what they want to do.
Oh, right. Because I know it's letting you on.
Be intentional. Be intentional for every scene and every shot you do. Think about it. Why are you shooting this scene? So for Project Volare, when we're working with the actors in the car and what scenes are coming up, I'm constantly thinking, okay, how is this shot going to complement the scene that's coming up next? Whether it's a faraway shot or moving closer. So just always be thinking in the back of your head how every shot is going to connect to the rest. Like, you have to be intentional. Don't just shoot thinking, oh, we'll figure this out in editing. One of the problems I think for early filmmakers, like people just getting started, that I think will have a problem with their editing is the more shots you have, more you can do in the editing room. You can connect with stuff. And again, there's always exceptions to every rule, but what I try to do is, if I have a specific way I want to shoot something where I think it should look, go for that. Just go for it. Because if you don't and you play it safe and you just gather a whole bunch of shots, what's going to happen is you really are duct taping your scene and stuff together in editing. So that shot you just got that's really unique and awesome looking, you cut away so fast because what you're doing is you're just trying to make the scene work, as opposed to directing the scene to make it into a specific vision, feel a specific way to the audience and portray the story and reveal elements in a very specific way. So be intentional and always be thinking about every shot you're doing. Why am I doing this? Why am I choosing this direction? Why am I having the camera down low? Why is it up high? Think about all these things because they all do mean stuff. And when you're editing, it's just going to come together much better, I think, than trying to, let me just get 6 different shots of this. We'll figure it out. Again, there might be a scene where it's really scary to do and you don't really know, or you're not confident enough to feel like you're going to capture it with just that one angle or 2 other angles. Maybe be a little bit more careful and get some stuff if you're not, if you're worried about it. That's totally fine. But I think in a general term, be intentional and then go for it.
You make any noise at all, I promise I will break every bone in your wealthy little body. Now let's have some fun with this. You remember drill 1? Let's go.
Be bold with your blocking decisions. And this doesn't mean go crazy, but be bold with your blocking decisions and then stick to it. So by blocking, I mean, I'm talking about where are the characters moving in relation to the camera. What I like the most in films that I enjoy watching, and I love watching tons of films, and some of my favorite movies are Lawrence of Arabia and 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I love those films, and the reason why I love them so much is because there's shots in the films that make you feel like you're a part of it. The camera will move in a certain way that you can kind of feel this 3D depth to it, that you feel like you're in the environment. So when I try to shoot, I'm always trying to think of, I'm looking at the script and I'm going, okay, there's a couple different lines, here's somebody says something. What is like the key element in this scene that kind of ties this little small 3-act section together? And so it could be someone revealing finding a gun, or revealing that something happens at some point. So I go, okay, how can I frame these characters in this car or standing outside in a way that I can show several things happening all at once? So for example, about being bold with blocking, I don't mean to say like it's everything that's crazy and cool artsy camera shots is being bold. But what I mean by that is specifically part 1. In episode 1, the shot starts with this gunman holding this phone up to his head. What I wanted to do in that one single shot is show a lot of different things, is to reveal mysteries one at a time. And to be honest, I learned it from watching Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid from the very start of the film. The camera starts out very close on the eye, and it just slowly reveals this gambling, this poker game that's going on, and it just reveals one segment again. So my idea was, if I start really close to this guy talking on the phone, to you, as the audience, first seeing it, you just think, oh, it's just a guy talking on the phone about some bad incident. Well, then the camera reveals around that this entire time he's had this casual conversation with someone. He's been holding this pistol to someone's head. What I was trying to go for is to create a mood that reveals something all in one shot. And so I planned to have the dialogue and how he moved and how he would hold the phone all in one scene. And so you're connecting things, and I think that invites the audience into a scene better than just trying to go, okay, we'll do this in 6 different shots while showing the girl and everything else. So by blocking is, be bold with some of the choices, because I think when you play it safe, it's gonna look safe. But I think when you try to ride the line a little bit of, what am I trying to do here with the script? How can I move and position the cameras and the actors to tell a better story? I think the film's gonna turn out better, and I think it's gonna feel more like you did it. And that's really important. It's that, oh, that's a Sam film, or that's an Adam type of film, or whatever it may be. But like, you don't want it to just feel like, oh, we just got a bunch of camera guys together and we just filmed actors acting. No, you got to place them in a specific spot to really tell the story, and that's what I try to do.
What is the nature of your emergency?
Yes, I'd like to report a car sitting on the tracks at the old station. There's a driver just sitting there. You might want to hurry.
Confirm.
I'm very excited about this. I'm very curious as to how you'll do. Just don't forget the rules.
Another really important thing is be open to suggestions. But then there's also a little bit, I think you need to be careful with that too. I've worked with a lot of different people on short films and some bigger movies too as well. I've been working on a personal film, Norman, for a long time. But what you need to be careful about is everyone thinks they have the best answer for what's gonna happen. And here's where the problem lies with sometimes taking critiques, is that they all may be actually right. But it's up to you, if you're running the project, you're directing, if you're like ahead of this thing, is you have to make the choice of what you think is the best for what direction you go for the story or directing, whatever it is. So just know that when you're getting feedback, you got to learn to trust certain people that you work with. You may work with a lot of different people, but the better you know them, the better you know their tastes and everything, because some problems can happen where you're going to get people that say, here's just a simple example. Let's just say someone goes, oh, this scene's moving way too fast. You need to slow this down. And then you have other people say, oh, this scene is moving way too slow. We really need to speed it up. Why is this so slow? But then what you might find is, let's say that person literally only likes, just action movies only, which are totally fine, but they only love action movies. And so anything that's even remotely slow, they don't enjoy. So you have to always be constantly going, you know what, is this really relevant to what my project is? Because, not everyone's gonna like your product. Like that's just the way that's the way it is. No, not everyone's going to enjoy what you made. So you got to also be careful of going, you know what, I think this suggestion makes sense. Let me think about it. Is it relevant to how this project works? Is his taste a little bit, like, because you don't always want the same exact taste from everyone, just saying yes, 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 you're having yes men. But you also just need to be careful to know you don't always have to agree with every person that comes with an idea. Because they may say, oh, I don't really like that. And they might not like it, and that's totally fine. But you may like it. So you always have to be weighing those choices of, is this worth going, you know what, I think that person's right, let's go with it. Or, you know what, I think my gut's saying, I think this actually just gonna work, and I think these two other people agree with me, and that one person still doesn't like it, what are you gonna do? So just know, be open to suggestions, because sometimes you're gonna get awesome suggestions that help the film out incredibly. But other times you just are stuck in the middle between two really good suggestions and they both say that's the way. They're totally different, but they're really good. It's up to you to make a decision. So just know that is coming, your direction, when you're gonna be directing. But just learn to know how to handle that and know that you do have options of where to go. So hopefully that's helpful.
As action, take a moment. Just be already, like you're already like, you got the gun at her. Mm-hmm. You were driving, you just stopped, and action.
Okay, for this last segment, it may sound a little bit weird, but just know the worst thing that can happen from sticking to a vision or directing a certain way and maybe being a little bit risky with what you want to do and just going, you know what, I'm going to try for it. I'm going to be bold and step out of my comfort zone and just go for something that's going to maybe be unique, you're hoping for. The worst that can happen is that it can fail. Like you can just realize, you know what, that didn't turn out great. But what's so important is that you got to understand that's it. Like that's the bottom, okay? It didn't work. So how can you take that and go, you know what, I need to learn from that, okay? I need to learn. So what did I do wrong with that? Every project I do, I'm always trying to learn new things. So whether it be this project Volare, where there's several shots, I'm like, you know what, I should have done this. I should have spoke up and said one more thing or got a different shot. I'm not so sure about that. There's always little things, but just know that the worst thing that can happen is it just not be good, but it doesn't mean that's the end of all things. You can get back up, you can try it again and learn, and just that's the only way you can get better, because no one's going to start out being awesome. No one is. So I think the biggest thing is just know that, like, oh, that's it. Okay, if that's the worst that's going to happen to this, okay, I'm just going to go for it then. Go for it, because I think it's better to just go for it and try to be something unique. Try to create something that's new, that you haven't seen before, or that you're just really passionate about, as opposed to just playing it safe, sending out a couple cameras, hoping for the best. And then that's just what you have. You just have hoping for the best film. But I think it's important that, again, from the first couple steps is, if you're inspired, if you're helping to inspire others, if you're giving everyone honest opinions of what things are going on, you're giving people feedback, you're letting them know how the project is going, they feel like they're connected to the thing. No matter, even if it doesn't do well, I think having that crew together that's working together well and enjoy the process, you're going to be able to recuperate from that. You're going to be able to learn from your mistakes and then just move on. I've done plenty of crappy things. But there's a lot of stuff that I look back and go, man, now I remember when I used to edit like that, and I'm learning how to not edit like that now, because I thought that was really cool and it worked really well. Or I remember when I used to direct this way, that's not how I should probably do it now. So you can always get better. And so hopefully this segment is helpful to you. Yeah, go out there and direct with a vision.